Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hainesport Democrats Fireside Chat, and thank you for joining us tonight. We are going to be talking about some of the issues that we want to share with you about our plans for Hainesport.
Good evening, Edie. Can you please tell us something about yourself?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Edie Darnold. I've lived in Hainesport Township for 17 years. Had my husband survived, I would have been married 58 years, but unfortunately my husband passed away 8 years ago. I have worked very hard in the township. I was in the township for 9 years, and I've learned how to concentrate on all of the issues. I have 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. So I'm looking forward to getting a bipartisan committee in the township of Hainesport.
Thank you, Edie. Anna, can you tell us something about yourself?
Of course. My name's Anna Evans. I've also lived in Hainesport for 17 years. You can probably tell that I'm not originally from Hainesport. I moved here in 2000 from England with my husband and 2 small children. The girls are now 20 and 18 and away at Penn State, which makes me an empty nester, and it's an ideal time for me to give back to the community. I work with my husband on a international marketing consultancy called Global Bridge LLC, and I'm also an adjunct professor at RCBC.
Thank you, Anna. Anna. Question number 1, Anna. The Mount Holly MUA has recently become a very important issue to Hainesport and surrounding communities. Can you briefly explain what the issue is with the MHMUA and what you would like to see happen with that issue?
Right. Unfortunately, in 1989, the people who were then running Hainesport signed a 40-year contract with the MHMUA, which entitled the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority to charge us 1.5 times as much as they charge their own residents. At the time, of course, this wasn't a big deal because Hainesport was mostly using septic tanks. But if you fast forward to today, we've got most of the community using the sewage facility. And also, over the last 3 years, the Mount Holly MUA have raised prices every year so that we're now 40% higher than they were 3 years ago. They were also taking that money and putting it into their own township budget rather than using it to restore or repair the MUA facilities. So what I'd like to see happen is for our township solicitor to take a stronger stance against the MUA, like the Lumberton and Westhampton townships who are currently going after the MHMUA in the courts. And I would like to see us renegotiate the contract, which I think is not an unfair thing to ask for, given the circumstances with it being a 40-year-old contract.
Thank you, Edie. Edie, Alamo Engineering is currently the township engineer and has been the township engineer for a number of years. Can you tell us how much Hainesport Township pays Alamo Engineering?
Well, professional services contract, like Alamo Engineering, you also have planners and you also have solicitors, are awarded contract on an annual basis. So, once they're awarded the contract, then a resolution is done, and the resolution states that the contract has been awarded, example, Alamo. Once the contract is done, then after the resolution is done, they prepare their own contracts so that they can give it to us to sign it. And that's how it's done in the township. Now, I understand that in 2015, Alamo had been awarded I believe it was $58,000, but last year they were awarded over $80,000.
Thank you very much, Edie. Anna, can you explain pay to play and why should Hainesport residents be concerned about pay to play?
Right, good question. Unfortunately, Alamo, as the township engineers, have been donating solely and heavily to the Republican candidates for committee. And this year they gave them $7,000, for example. And the fear is that this contract that my running mate talked about becomes merely a rubber stamp, and Alemo can expect to get the contract again year after year after year simply because they donate to the people who are effectively awarding the contract. Now, if that is the case, then they have no incentive to fight for cost-saving initiatives or even to make sure that they do the best job possible. And that, of course, affects Hainesport residents. Now, a second issue is that Alemo Associates are also the township engineers for Mount Holly Township and for the MHMUA. So that presents a problem where there may be a conflict of interest for our Republican committee opponents because they have been given so much money by the people who work for Mount Holly. It doesn't really incentivize them to go after the Mount Holly MHMUA.
Thank you. Anna, what can the township do to help increase ratables?
So our idea is that we should have a Hainesport Chamber of Commerce comprised of all of the local business leaders, that they should meet on a monthly basis and discuss issues related to the business that they need to bring before the committee. The idea being that as a group they can be much more powerful when they come to talk to the committee, and they can also share ideas and network so that they can work together to do the best for Hainesport.
Okay, thank you. Edie, Hainesport currently has a large feral cat population. What is your position on the trap, neuter, release program?
Well, I support the humane resolution for feral cat population. A while back, if I'm not mistaken, probably I believe it was last year, at a meeting last year, a representative from the animal shelter came and made the suggestion that maybe we should have the business owners, that's what I wanted to say, the business owners pay to have the cats neutered or spaded. I don't think that's fair to the business owners. I mean, I really don't. What I feel what we should do is we should have a resolution where the cats can be captured in a cage, neutered or spaded, and then let go. This way we control the population, and this way we don't have problems with the feral cats anymore.
Thank you. Edie, are you a good candidate for Hainesport Township Committee?
Excuse me?
Edie, are you a good candidate for the Hainesport Township Committee?
Well, my background includes working for Hainesport Township for 9 years, okay? During that time, I was the assistant to the administrator clerk. I have experience in working with township meetings, with the budget, preparing agendas, making sure that I understand at the time, that I understood what was being done in the township and the operations of the township.
Okay, thank you. Anna, why are you a good candidate for the Hainesport Township Committee?
I have been going to the Hainesport Township Committee meetings since February of 2016. I've not missed a single one. And not long after that, I decided to write a blog summarizing everything that went on at those meetings so that Hainesport's residents could be better informed and more quickly informed about what the issues that were facing Hainesport. I've also been speaking out at those meetings on issues that come up, and I have represented Hainesport's residents in everything rather than any special interest groups.
Thank you. Edie, what experience do you have that qualifies you for holding a political office?
Well, unlike my running mate, I do not have prior experience in politics. However, as I previously stated, I worked for the Township of Hainesport. I understand what the budget is about. The meetings, I understand how meetings are done. And I have the experience of working with the administrator clerk, who showed me a couple of things that I needed to know whenever anything was happening in the township. So I understand a lot of the township issues.
Thank you. Anna, what experience do you have that qualifies you for holding political office?
So I'm glad you asked that because not a lot of people know this about me, but back in England, I was actually an active member of the Labour Party, which is the closest thing we have to the Democrat Party. And in fact, I even campaigned for Prime Minister Tony Blair when I was pregnant with my first child. Now, of course, I then did go on to have 2 children in fairly quick succession, and I moved to America when they were very young. I moved over here in 2000. So I did have to step back from politics for a while. While my children were going to school, I got involved with the school. I was always a member of the PTO and often a room mom. And now that my children have left, and I've been able to move back into the political arena and try, as I've said earlier, to give back to the community where I raised my children.
Thank you. Edie, what is your position on neighborhood watches, and do you think that Hainesport could have a neighborhood watch?
Yes, I think it's a very, very good idea. As a matter of fact, I'm sure all the Hainesport residents know they do not have a police department. We are monitored by the New Jersey State Police. And of course, the New Jersey State Police cannot do everything. Now, Hainesport really doesn't have major crimes. We do have minor crimes, but recently we've had break-ins. We've heard a couple of shots, we understand, in the neighborhood. So what I believe is maybe we should have a neighborhood watch and work with the New Jersey Police Force to develop the neighborhood watch, and hopefully with the neighborhood watch we can continue to monitor Hainesport.
Thank you. Anna, what can you tell me about the land that Hainesport is currently purchasing by the southwest branch of the Rancocas Creek and behind the Creekview development?
Right. I was actually fortunate enough to get the chance to walk that stretch of land last week with John Anderson, who is a local naturalist and a strong advocate for Rancocas Creek, which was a great opportunity. And I actually have realized that it is a beautiful area with fantastic potential for Hainesport. There's an area of it that is going to be able to be made into a fantastic open-air amphitheatre for outdoor productions of plays and musical performances. And the bit closer down to the creek is just outstandingly beautiful and a fantastic area for wildlife and also for kayaking. So I do believe that the area, the purchase could turn out to be an excellent one for Hainesport, although the land is going through due diligence at the moment. So the purchase hasn't yet been made, but if it passes all the tests that are required of it, I think it will be a good purchase for Hainesport, and that Hainsport's residents will be able to make great use of it in time to come.
Okay, thank you. Edie, what do you think about the condition of the roads in Hainesport?
Well, as I was campaigning, I noticed that a lot of the roads were unapproachable, unwalkable, and also undrivable. So if I'm elected, I would like to work with the committee to set funds aside so that we can fix these roads and put them in better shape than what they are today.
Okay, thank you. Anna, I saw your video of you kayaking on the Rancocas Creek. What do you think about the preservation of the Rancocas Creek?
I think the Rancocas Creek is a wonderful local natural resource that we have. And I do believe that, again, John Anderson has been promoting the idea of making it into a sequence of national river trails. I believe also that it would be a great opportunity for the townships that have the Rancocas Creek running through it to, again, form some sort of multi-township committee dedicated to the preservation of the creek, and that an individual from each of the township committees could be on this Rancocas Creek Preservation Committee, and the aim of the committee would be to work towards maintaining this wonderful resource that we all have.
Thank you. Edie, do you think that term limits should be placed on township committee members?
Yes, I do believe that wholeheartedly. I believe in a limited term of 9 years or 3 terms. I don't believe that a committee member should be on there any longer than that, because what it does is It allows them to start thinking of crazy ideas and how do I take care of myself, and forget about the residents. And residents, as a committee person, should be the first priority of each committee member.
Thank you. Anna, what is the issue with the Hainesport Industrial Railroad, and why should Hainesport residents care?
Okay, well, back in 2006, our then solicitor, Ted Costa, signed a contract with the Hainesport Industrial Railroad, which has not done Hainesport any favors at all. The contract states that Hainesport gets paid merely 50 cents per ton for all of the waste products that go through the Hainesport Industrial Railroad. Now, other towns, we believe, earn as much as $1.50 per ton. And given that 11 years have elapsed since that contract was signed, it does seem to us that Hainesport has been losing money on this. There's also the issue of just exactly what kind of industrial waste goes through the railroad. Some of it could be hazardous to residents, some of it could be dangerous to the land. So I think we need to look very carefully at the Hainesport Industrial Railroad and at the contracts that were signed, and we might even need to involve the DEP.
Okay. And I just wanted to ask you too, do you believe in term limits for committee members?
Absolutely, yes. I think the number, we should not be expected to have a committee member serving for more terms than we have a governor serving. Too many people staying in office for too long leads to corruption, and we want to avoid that at all costs.
Okay. Edie, health benefits were a hot topic in the last election. Do you think that the township committee members should get health benefits paid for by the township?
No. I will give you my reason. They should not get benefits at all. They're doing a service to the township, okay? The amount that was given to each member on the committee was $30,000 per member benefits. That is a burden on the residents of Hainesport because the residents have to pay taxes, okay? So I don't believe that they should really be getting any benefits whatsoever. As a matter of fact, some of them work for the state, some of them work for counties, other municipalities, and they're not getting the benefits from those municipalities. If I'm working for a specific municipality, I should get the benefits from that municipality. I shouldn't be getting the benefits from Hainesport because you're putting a burden on Hainesport.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anna, what is your vision for the future of Hainesport?
I like to think of Hainesport, which is a wonderful little town. I've stayed here for 17 years, I raised my children here, and I want to see us becoming a lot more bipartisan. I think the lack of bipartisan committee for the last 25 years has been a huge problem for Hainesport and has led to some of the divisive political rhetoric that we've seen in the township. I also believe that we can and should develop our business ratables. I think the Hainesport Chamber of Commerce will be a good step towards achieving that, and in that way we can reduce Hainesport's property taxes. I'm really looking forward to getting onto the committee so that we can go over the budget with a fine-tooth comb. We've already talked about this,
yes.
And identify areas where we can make cost savings and really benefit the people of Hainesport.
Okay. Now my last question is for Anna. Recently there was a thread on the Hainesport Happening Facebook page that talked about the speeding problem through Hainesport. Is there anything that could be done about the speeding problem?
It's a tricky one, unfortunately. There are many roads in Hainesport that act as thoroughfares. The ones that come to mind are Bancroft Lane, Eastern Way, and some of the roads in Hainesport Heights. And measures have been tried. We've had the traffic calming device, and there are various places where there are speed bumps or speed humps. Now, I've done some research on this, and in fact, speed bumps or speed humps are the most effective way of reducing speeding and accidents caused by speeding. In areas where those are installed, we see a reduction of up to 20% in speeding tickets and in accidents caused by speeding. Unfortunately, they aren't always popular with the residents. So one thing is to make sure that you build or create the most user-friendly speed humps. These are often about 12 feet long, which prevents that whole grounding effect that you can get with a speed bump, which is the much shorter type. But if that isn't going to be possible, then there is another option. Edie talked about the neighborhood watch. Correct. It is possible to arm neighborhood watch people with speed radar guns and have them test the speed of the cars on their various streets, and then the township can send letters to the residents admonishing them for speeding down the streets. Now, obviously there's no actual ticket involved there, but it can still work to shame residents into reducing their speed in crucial areas. This has worked quite well in some townships in the south.
Well, I have one more question for the two of you, and Anna, you can go first, and then Edie, you can follow. What are shared services, and do you believe that we should have shared services with other towns? So Anna, you first.
I do. I think it's a way of getting cost savings. Again, cost savings is all about reducing property taxes. We do have shared services. One that comes to mind is that we share a municipal court with West Hampton and one of the other towns, might be East Hampton or Lumpton, I'm not sure, but definitely West Hampton and Hainesport share the municipal court facility, which is in West Hampton. And so that way Hainesport doesn't have to have its own municipal court facility. Now, what I would like to see is for us to, again, have more cooperation between the townships so that one member of each township actually sits down in a committee on a monthly basis to talk about opportunities for shared services and where we can expand those to give Hainesport residents a cost saving.
Very good. Edie, would you like to add to this?
Yes, I do believe in shared services. Attending the meetings in Hainesport, it was asked we should get a police force within Hainesport. The way our taxes are right now, if we get a police force, our own police force in Hainesport Township, our taxes would go so high that many of the residents wouldn't be able to survive in the township. We'd either have to move out. Senior citizens, I'd hate to think what would happen to a senior citizen with the taxes. So my belief is, if we had shared services, we could do shared services with the New Jersey State Police. Let's talk to them. Let's find out how they can assist us. Again, the cost is very, very minute, like Anna said. The savings would be great for the residents of Hainesport, and we would be able to have a good police force within Hainesport, and we don't have to have our own.
Okay. Will there be an open door policy?
Absolutely, yes. We've
Yes.
already decided that if we can, we will open the township building for one later afternoon/evening a week, and we will be there to meet with any resident who wants to speak to us, whether they share our political views or not. We will take down their concerns, and we will do our best to address the needs of every resident of Hainesport.
You want to wrap it?
I believe we're coming to a close now, so I would like to thank everyone in Hainesport who tuned in for joining us for this fireside chat. I hope it's enabled you to get to know myself and Edie a little better and understand our plans to put Hainesport above all else. I'd also like to shout out to any current and former students of mine who decided to tune in and watch their professor be a politician. Thank you very much for your help with the questions.
Thank you,
Thank
Edie.
you.
Thank you, Edie and Anna, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very, very much.
Good night, Hainesport.
Good night, Hainesport.
Oh, don't forget to vote. Darnold and Evans, November the 7th. Thank you very much.